Hi, it's Joanna Clark with Blissful Baby Sleep Coaching, and I wanted to pop in here and talk to you today because I have a lot of families that have made New Year's resolution to make sleep a priority, and so we're in the midst of sleep training, and yet we're still in the middle of flu season, cold season, stomach flu, and some of my families might be 3 or 4 days into the process, and then boom, the child gets sick. So I just wanted to talk about sleep training and sickness and illness and how to handle it. So, as I've discussed in other videos, that sleep coaching is really all about behavioral modification and learning a new skill set. And as we know, it usually takes anywhere between 14 to 21 days to build a new habit. So, as you're moving through the sleep coaching process, your child will get better and better at the ability to self settle and self soothe to sleep. And like some of these clients I'm working with right now, they're on day 4 or 5. So they're just at that very beginning, delicate phase of the sleep coaching, and then their child gets sick and they don't know if they should continue to sleep train or go on hold, or how they should, monitor that and manage that situation. So my first recommendation is determining if your child's ill, what requires immediate attention from you at night. So obviously, if your child has had a fever in the last 24 hours and you have an unusual arousal in the middle of the night, absolutely you want to attend to your child. So when you're sleep coaching and your child's sick, you're still attending to your child. So in no way will we ever leave your child unattended. But when they're sick, we have to have our kind of extra alert on how we want to attend. So if your child is 4 months and below, and you walk in to go check on your child and your child has a fever of 101 or more, obviously most pediatricians would say to you, definitely call the pediatrician, and that's considered a high fever for a 4-month-old or under 101. If your child is 6 months old or older, typically what's considered high fever is about 102.5 to 103, in which case you absolutely want to kind of hold and halt your sleep coaching until that fever has released and it's clear and free, no fever for 24 hours. So that's kind of your first rule there. Put a hold and a stop if your child has fever or high fever, and you want to have the fever be clear for at least 24 hours before you do any resuming. The second one is diarrhea. If your child has had diarrhea or loose stools within 24 hours of the sleep coaching, you want to put everything on hold and stop until 24 to 48 hours after your child resumes to normal bowel movements. Okay. Third would be ear infection. That's the worst because sometimes we don't know that our child is developing an ear infection. So clearly, if you were lucky enough to get a diagnosis and your child is on the meds, or you have other ways that you're managing that with your pediatrician, we want to make sure that the child's free and clear of any pain associated with that ear infection. The thing that's tricky about sleep coaching and ear infections is that ear infections are painful. And how can you expect your child to learn how to self-settle and self-soothe when they're not feeling great and they're possibly in pain? So that's another one. You want to make sure that ear infection is cleared before you resume. Same thing would be with a urinary tract infection. That usually happens with older children, but it's possible for the younger babies as well. Another one would be immunization. A lot of times if we're sleep coaching and the child has an immunization, we kind of know that first day or two, if there's some unusual arousals, we just need to make sure we do immediate attention to the child, because sometimes after an immunization, children have disturbed sleep, and we want to be able to attend to them and offer them the support that they're looking for. And the last would be one of those dreadful hacking coughs where they just they'll be dead asleep and they'll cough themselves awake. That is a miserable experience for the child, miserable experience for the parents. Obviously, we want to help our child. We want to keep them upright. We want to give them, offer vaporizer and whatever other remedies that your pediatrician recommends. So with all this being said, what I want to say is there will be some very specific reasons when you're sleep coaching where you need to go on halt. And if you need to go on halt for several days because you need to be able to go back to those original crutches, or you need to step down to maybe not the original crutch, but maybe still offering support to help them go to sleep and stay asleep, it's okay, all right? We need to be able to help our children when they need care, when they need comfort, when they're ill or have an ear infection or a terrible cough. they need our support. And I don't want you to ever doubt that you can support your child during that time when you're sleep coaching and if they get ill. So the big rule of thumb is your gut is going to tell you if something is wrong, you need to attend to your child, go ahead and do that. It's not going to set you back too long. You want to give it at least a good 48 hours to make sure things are back on track, and then you can resume your sleep coaching. If there was a slight regression because you had to go back to using some crutches, don't despair. You already had X amount of days underneath your sleep coaching experience to see that your child was making progress. And so there's no reason to believe that once they're well again, you could go ahead and begin again and just be as consistent as you can from that point forward after you've had to reintroduce crutches. So for those of you that are in that situation right now and you're confused and you don't know what to do, don't be, definitely click below, ask some questions. I'll try to get back to you, or feel free to go to my website, which is Blissful Baby Sleep Coaching, and request to do a contact me so that we can do a 30-minute complimentary sleep strategy session to figure out what to really do in your situation. If you were midway through sleep coaching and now there's been a regression and you can't seem to get back on track, obviously that's something I can help you with. So I'm hoping this information was helpful and useful to you to feel empowered to absolutely respond to your child during illness, and that you haven't lost traction in your sleep coaching. You will get back on track. But the most important thing is you want your child to feel loved, supported, cared for, and you want to be able to follow your motherly intuition and parent intuition to help your child to get up and over an illness and back to health. So thanks so much and have a great day. Take care.